Admiral, former president of the Berkeley County Commission, keeper of Indian ruins on his property and remains, Mr. Bill Stubblefield.
Good morning, Rob. It's great to be here. Wonderful day.
And now the road to those ruins and remains are paved with gravel.
Paved with gravel, that's right, yeah.
If that's even possible to be paved with gravel.
After you introduce Maria, we want to come back for a little bit of lead-ins.
All right, let's do that right now then. Let's say good morning to Maria Lawrenson, former editor of the Journal. There was like 6 other titles on that resume as well. She's done a lot of things in a short period of time. Maria, good morning.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Also, she's from the hometown of Perry Como, Cannonsburg.
I am indeed.
Does she sing like Perry Como?
She certainly does.
Not. And Bobby Vinton.
Bobby Vinton
and Perry Como. Yeah.
I should probably ask this question to Dale because he knows a lot more than maybe you do. But Maria and I were solicited our advice this morning. You ignored it. We spent quite a bit of time providing good advice. You ignored it totally. We're not paid. No. We're not. We're treated with disrespect.
Yes.
We wonder why we even come in to grace you with our wonderful presence.
I've wondered that myself. What is there a question here, Admiral?
No.
Because it's fun, Bill.
It is fun, even though he ignores our
we get no snacks. Jackie Long, we need you to come back, give us some snacks. But yeah, other than that, life is good.
Is this really the way you want to bring the president of the West Virginia Education Association, West Virginia chapter on the program?
Dale, how are you?
Yes. With complaints and whining. Is this really how you want to do this?
Dale's used to that. He gets it all the time.
That's true.
Dale, do you still want to do this?
That just made me feel right at home. So in a couple legislators chewing me out, and it'll be a perfect day.
Oh, well, we have time for that.
Well, let's have them call.
There's still another 82.5 minutes to go on the show. We have many, I'm sure, that are standing in line to do that. Dale, good morning, and welcome to a new school year, sir.
Oh, thank you, and good morning, you all. And you did show Bill the picture that I had my tie on.
Yes, you did. You know, Dale, I found out last night you're going to be on. That made my day. I always enjoyed talking with you on via the show. So
yeah, Colin's going to get that picture posted in just a second here because Dale found out you guys were on and wanted to make sure that the tie was in place and accurate. So the picture you'll see in a minute is up to date to the exact second of putting the tie and the shirt on.
What a nice looking tie.
You know, when the Admiral tells you don't do interviews without a tie on, you don't do interviews without a tie on anymore.
See, this is the way. This is the thing. People keep giving in to him, and he assumes more and more power.
Well, you know, if his suggestions and ideas aren't being taken seriously, then he has to have something.
I have to go somewhere else. You're right, Dale. You have exactly right.
As we begin a new,
bring the guest
in, which we've done. Yeah, we're trying to. As we begin a new school year, Dale, what is the status of the population of teachers in the state of West Virginia in regards to the number required?
Well, I know there's quite a few openings across the state. There are a lot of jobs posted on the State Department website. We won't know an accurate figure until October when you get the second month report coming in, but it will probably go down a little bit because of loss of enrollment, because of the loss of the number of teaching positions that are needed filled. What concerns me also, besides the teaching positions, is every county I know that I've been to so far is having difficulty filling the bus drivers, aides positions, things like that. So it is going to be difficult to start the school year, and I think that's just going to get worse as I hear rumblings that there may be a special session on PEIA, and we'll see what comes out of that.
Not counting the step increases, when was the last teacher raise in West Virginia?
Well, the actual raise was 2 years ago, but that was given at the prospect of offsetting the increase in PEIA. So, you know, we've had pay increases for the last 7 years, but we still dropped to 51st in the nation in pay. One, because the increases were used to offset the PEIA premium increases, and secondly, all the other states were given larger raises than we were.
And under the Morrissey administration, it appears that the goal is belt tightening. Do you have any indication that a teacher raise will be forthcoming in 2026? I
always stay optimistic, especially when you saw a report that the state ended the fiscal year with over a $300 million surplus. So there's always the chance, but we'll see where it goes.
In regards to governors, what was your relationship like with Governor Justice, and do you have a relationship with Governor Morrissey?
Governor Justice and I were friends for a long time before I became president of WVEA and he became the governor. So we had a better relationship than a lot of people would have. I speak to Governor Morrissey. We converse different times. It's not nearly the give and take input that I've had with, say, a Governor Manchin, Governor Tomlin, Governor Justice, but it's still early in his administration.
Bill Stubblefield.
Good morning again, Dale. You mentioned loss of enrollment. Is that going to be driving us in certain areas to break away from the traditional way of education to go more toward either more aggressive consolidation or a revamped, reconstituted virtual education system?
Well, I don't think it will go to a virtual education system. We saw during COVID and that the virtual really just doesn't work for the majority of students. We've also seen with the virtual charter schools that they're not as successful as you would like to think. However, it is going to cause more and more counties to go into consolidation. There are difficulties in some of our counties that have a large land mass where you may have a small school that's hard to get to anywhere. And you have to be mindful of the number of hours that kids are on the bus and things like that.
Is there courts ruling the amount of time that they can be on a bus?
There's a suggestive time.
Which is?
I don't know that right offhand. Okay. I'm thinking it's like no more than 60 minutes, but don't quote me on that because I'm getting old and forgetful.
I can identify with that. Yeah.
Maria.
So Dale, you just said the magic word. So consolidation, is that really we know how difficult it is to, well, at least here in the Eastern Panhandle, I sense everywhere, to close a school. We had a situation at North Jefferson Elementary in Jefferson County, and the parents just were just completely opposed to that measure. So, but you're talking about consolidation, like one county with another county. What's the flavor of that? Yes or no?
I don't know that I wasn't talking about one county consolidating with another county.
Sorry.
Although there have been a couple examples over the years of a regional school. For example, Chapmansville Regional High School takes kids from two counties. There's an elementary school in Gilmer County and can't remember which county that it does, but their elementary school is right on the border of the county. So half the school's in Gilmer County, the other half is in the other county. So there have been attempts to do that. It makes it more and more difficult. And the problem area is when you lose your community school, in many instances you lose the community identity. So that's why parents and everyone fight so hard to keep their community school.
How's the new union coming along, Dale?
Well, we have about, I'll be president of WVEA now for about 11 more days, and then September 1, I become co-president of Education West Virginia. We're getting things done. We've been all over the state during the opening of schools and speaking to new teacher orientations, and it seems to be very receptive. The people are very receptive of a more united, stronger voice.
Any real pushback from the teachers of losing WVEA, EA rather?
Well, I think we've done a really good job of promoting the need for a strong, united voice, and that they're really not losing benefits, so to speak. We're actually gaining benefits. You now have benefits from the NEA, from the AFT, from the AFL-CIO. So there hasn't been much pushback at all.
Is Christy Skidmore the other co-president? Dale?
Yes, she is. She is.
What is your relationship like with Christy in regards to?
Oh, we have a very good relationship. We met for a couple hours yesterday, so we try to figure out exactly where each of us need to be around the state, and do things both collaboratively and individually when we need to be at more than one place.
What's her background, Dale?
She's a Title I teacher in Randolph County at an elementary school.
Does she still actively teach?
No, she just last night got her leave of absence approved, so she hasn't been in the classroom since November.
Gotcha.
You said Title I. What does that mean?
Title I, I think she's Title I, maybe reading teacher, so she would, in our Title I schools, that she would be able to pull kids and help them with additional reading things and strategies and those types of things.
So, Dale, how long does the co-presidency last, and then what happens? I seem to remember that there then is a vote, but refresh my memory on that.
We'll be in the transition governance phase until the spring of 2027, when Education West Virginia will have its first representative convention. At that representative convention, the delegates will vote for the first elected president of Education West Virginia, and they'll take office July 1 of 2027. So we'll be co-presidency until June 30th of 2027.
And
will you stand for election?
The last conversation, he said he wouldn't.
Okay. Have you
Rob's
changed
answering your question.
Have you
Bill.
changed your mind, Dale?
My oldest grandson starts preschool Tuesday. My youngest grandson is 18 months old, and I enjoy being around them. So as of right now, no, I haven't changed my mind. I'm ready to go home and be pop for those two boys. The oldest one's playing soccer. I want to be involved in that. He went to basketball camp this summer, and Mike can help him a little bit with basketball. I know I can help him argue with the referee.
That comes natural. You don't need coached on that.
But
that's in the Lee DNA.
But I'm taking that as a soft no, Dale.
Yeah, it's more than it's a really hard no.
Okay.
Yeah, Bill's trying to stir up trouble there.
Yeah, well,
Indeed.
you've done well. Plus, I want to say those ties. I don't want to spend much without saying a tie.
Yeah. So go ahead, Marie.
So, quick question, Dale. I think it was the state board that sent out press releases about test scores. We talk a lot about test scores here on this program. There were some gains, of course, and folks were pretty happy with that, but still lower, I'm assuming, than what people are striving for.
Well, we're never going to be totally happy with test scores, but we are making improvement, particularly in the third grade levels with the K through 3 program that we have, where we're putting classroom aides in those schools to have additional set of eyes and hands available for those kids. It's showing the improvement. The problem is it's going to take a few years for those kids to go through the other grades. So you're not going to see the jumps in improvement in, say, 4th, 8th grade and stuff as you would want until that group that's gone through this get to those grades. And I never put a lot of credence into our 11th grade test scores because we use the SAT test for our accreditation. Our test for that. If you all remember back in the dark ages when I was in school, the only kids that took the SAT were those that were planning to go out of state to college, and now we're giving it to 95% of our 11th graders. So that's just not a fair comparison, I don't think.
Dale, Maria so correctly brought us back to asking serious questions, so well done, Maria. But that leads another question. Is the union or the teachers taking a position on the vaccination?
Yes, we want to make sure that our kids and our educators are safe. We have the lowest infectious disease rate in the state with our schools, and we fully support the vaccine requirement. I recognize and really appreciate everyone's religious freedoms, but we have to make sure that our students and our educators and their educators' families are safe too. So we support the vaccine not being exempt for religious freedom.
Along those lines, Dale, whenever we discuss this topic, somebody in our comments section will chime in with, but we don't require the teachers to be vaccinated. Isn't that dangerous for the kids?
Well, I think most of the teachers have been vaccinated throughout their career because most of us went to public schools, so we had the vaccines.
But we don't require it, though, correct?
I can't answer that one. I don't know. I think I'd really have to look and research that before I could give a good answer on that. But like I say, I would bet that 95% or 90 even higher percentage of the teachers and aides have been vaccinated because they went to public schools.
I want to talk about the legislature and the court case in regards to oversight of the State Board of Education. What's the latest on that, Dale?
We'll wait. The Supreme Court hasn't taken it up yet. I think it's interesting that in 1989, the first policy that came from the State Board where it was challenged was a transportation policy. And the Supreme Court ruled that the legislature, there had to be a separate branch. The legislature couldn't be make the rulemaking authority. And it was the exact same policy, a transportation policy. That was the first one came out of the State Department in this year. So that will be the same challenge. So we'll see how the Supreme Court rules on it.
Do you believe that the legislature should have any oversight of the State Board of Education?
No, I believe there's a reason that we have a separate. Our Constitution, to me, is clear that you have a provide for a free and thorough public education system, and that it has a separate entity that is making the rules, and it just would create havoc to me to have a legislature that potentially could change every 2 years. Making the rules for public education.
The issue and concerns, as I've heard this issue discussed from those who want some change with the State Board of Education, is that it's an unelected position. It's appointed. The terms are very long. They exceed that of a two-term governor, so there doesn't appear to be any oversight or accountability from those members. Dale, so how do you affect change?
There is accountability in that the Senate has to approve each of those appointments. So there is some accountability like that. Certainly, if the Senate didn't think that the person that was being put up to go in the State Board could do it, they could not grant the appointment.
Should these positions ultimately be elected positions, Dale?
I would have trouble with that too, because again, the changes that it could create. There's a reason that it was staggered terms. If we want to look at something, then look at the term, the length of the term. But there's a stagger to have the consistency in our public education system.
In regards to the classroom, did you have a question on that, Bill? Okay. In regards to the classroom as we begin this new school year, Dale, what do you see as the biggest challenges for teachers this year?
Again, we haven't totally addressed the mental and emotional needs of our students. We passed a discipline policy again for elementary schools this past year, but we're not solving, or we're not diving into what's causing these disruptive behaviors, what's causing the problems that these kids are bringing to school for us. And they have problems that are different than when I was in the classroom now 18 years ago. And it changes. And if we don't address the mental and emotional needs of these students in the elementary school, where we can help and make a change, then we're going to lose them.
Dale, kind of an offshoot of that, are you satisfied with the efforts been made for school safety?
Mostly satisfied. Our schools are very safe with the things that we've put in place across the state right now. I am concerned that in the budget this past legislative session that we added another $100 million into the Hope Scholarship and took, I think it was $1.2 or $1.4 million away from our public schools that would have gone to school safety. So I'm concerned of that, but I do feel like our schools are very safe.
There were last year some complaints from some of the smaller school districts, Dale, that the Hope Scholarship was creating a drain on the schools to the point where some would have to be closed or consolidated. Was that an accurate concern?
It's a very accurate concern, and it's going to get worse. In 2026, 2027, the requirement that the student had to, for a Hope Scholarship, had to be in a public school for 45 days goes away. So now that's going to make it even broader and more open than it is. And the projection is it will cost over $300 million to fund the Hope Scholarship in the 2026-2027 year. And each of those kids that are out are kids that are not in our public schools, which causes continued loss of enrollment.
Final minute. Last question for Dale. Now's the time to ask it. If not, Dale's going to tell a basketball story.
Oh, why not? Talk about locality pay, Dale. We wouldn't have a discussion on a Wednesday if we didn't ask you about locality pay and your thoughts about how that's ever going to get passed or never going to get passed.
45 seconds, Dale.
There you go.
Again, it's difficult for that to pass in the legislature. I'm not against locality pay, contrary to what many people say. We're not against it, but we're not the ones voting on it. And what we've seen in the legislature is the other counties are not going to vote for something that doesn't help them. So we really need to look at the local shares and reducing that so that more of the tax dollars are going back into the locality and earmarking that for salaries and benefits.
Dale, thank you kindly for your time this morning. I want you to have a great day and take care of your grandkids.
I sure will. Thank you. And I had a great basketball story, too.
Next time, Dale.
Well, thank Maria.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thanks, Dale.
Yeah, thank you, Maria, for getting me on locality pay one more time. I thought I was going to do one interview without that coming up.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dale. Have a great day. Fun talking with you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.